Remember her?
One thing about the Olympics, it'll make you super invested in sports you've never watched before.
Ilona Maher.
As the Olympics officially start today, I want you all to take a look at all the different body types on display. All body types matter. All body types are worthy, from the smallest gymnast to the tallest volleyball player, from a rugby player to a shot putter and a sprinter. All body types are beautiful and can do amazing things. So truly see yourself in these athletes and know that you can do it too.
Well, she was bullied for having the athletic body composition she has.
Hi, thank you for this comment. I think you were trying to roast me, but this is actually a fact. I do have a BMI of 30. Well, 29.3 to be more exact. I've been considered overweight my whole life. In middle school, elementary school, high school, I was always considered overweight. I remember vividly one time in high school, I did turn in a physical to the office, and right at the bottom of the page, it said overweight. And I was so embarrassed to turn that in and to have that written there. So my whole life I've been this way. I chatted with my dietitian because I go off of, facts and not just what pops up here, like you do. And we talked about BMI, and we talked about how it really isn't helpful for athletes. BMI doesn't tell you much. It just tells you what your height and weight and what that equals. I've said it before, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. And I have about, and this is an estimate, but about 170 pounds of lean mass on me. Do that math in your head, you probably can't. That's pretty crazy, right? And that BMI doesn't really tell you what I can do. It doesn't tell you what I do in the field, how fit I am. It's just a couple numbers put together. It doesn't tell you how much muscle I have or anything like that. So, yeah, I do have a BMI of 30. I am considered overweight. But alas, I'm going to the Olympics, and you're not.
And to be clear, these attacks were against her, Katie Ledecky, Imani Khalif, and many more.
I'm gonna be very real here for a second. As you can probably tell, I've been crying a little bit. I always get these comments, but like recently it kind of ramped up. I get comments being called a man and being called masculine and asking if I'm on steroids. There will always be negative people out there, and they put women in a box, and they think of women should be fragile and petite and quiet and meek. But that's not the case. Women can be strong, and they can have broad shoulders, and they can take up space, and they can be big. I think I'm getting emotional because I feel very passionate about this. Don't let anybody try to define or dictate how you feel about yourself. You get to decide that.
And it led to, get this, right-wingers flooding her social media in the comments and transvestigating her, writing despicable messages. And it was a lot. It was a real lot.
See these bad boys right here? See these? Those are my shoulders, and they're big and they're broad, and for a while I was always ashamed of them. I got this comment and I resonated with it so much because I always tried to hide my shoulders as well. I always had really long hair because I wanted to cover it and seem more feminine. And it's really taken years of learning and deprogramming to love my big shoulders and to really find them beautiful. I even had a teammate recently who was wearing like a cardigan, and I was like, oh, why are you wearing that? We're going out. And she's like, oh, I don't really, still not uncomfortable with my shoulders. And so it dawned on me that, damn, there's still work to be done, and there's still people who are uncomfortable with their shoulders. Here's how I look at it. First off, the shoulders are beautiful. Second, those are the shoulders you have and you're gonna have for the rest of your life. They're gonna be that big until you die. So I think it's a lot of learning to accept them and learning to find the beauty in them. Like, to me now, these shoulders make you want to take notice. When I walk into a room, people see it. I want to put my shoulders back and people notice me.
But men won't find big shoulders attractive, or if I'm muscular, I won't find a husband.
I'm telling you right now, there are men that find it extremely attractive and extremely beautiful. Do not worry, you might just be talking to the wrong man. So my advice, ladies, is day by day, learn to love, learn to accept them, learn to understand how powerful they are, what they can do, because that's you and your shoulders, you for life.
Thus, Corey Forrester, like many, were just fed up with all this.
So is this what patriotism is to you freaking far-right assholes? Going after an Olympian, a United States Olympian, which, like, I don't know, when I was a kid, like, that was the most eagle sound patriotic you could be. An Olympian on their way to a gold medal for the United States, and you're going to shit on it. Anytime you see any woman that's not a size 0, you're just like, they got a dick. Calm down with your... Do you understand that all the people who are sitting behind their podiums, whether they're a senator, congressman, former president, or whatever, that is getting you to worry so much about trans people, are just wanting you to turn their heads while they do some truly nefarious shit? You moron. They want you screaming about all this while they pick your pockets. Also, do you have eyeballs? That's just a big, strong woman.
And so what has happened in the aftermath of all that? Well, Ilona Maher, who is 28 years old, after winning the bronze in rugby, the first ever for the United States of America, would be selected to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. She'd say there's got to be thousands of women who take this as like a big step for every time they were told their legs were too big or their shoulders were too broad. I hope this is like that coming home moment, she would add. To gain muscle is to lose femininity, she told CBC. That's a loss of social and cultural capital, right? You lose some standing as a woman, and I think we see female athletes always kind of battling that. Women's bodies can be muscular, and that's completely a fine option, right? Men don't get the ownership of muscularity, and women don't need to apologize for being muscular. Amen. As SI's Liz Plank wrote, one thing is certain, she handles the spotlight that she's earned with great care, and she's intent on making a meaningful impact. When I bring up the upcoming presidential election, her demeanor shifts. The playful, lighthearted tone she displayed so far gives way to a more serious, contemplative one. Thus, Maher would reply, I think it's going to be cool because there is an opportunity to have female representation and to change this country in a way that I think will benefit us, she would say. Was that a Kamala Harris endorsement? Plank would ask. That's a Kamala Harris endorsement, she would reply with a coy smile. Maher would cite issues like abortion rights and contraception as key concerns for her. Her approach to politics, writes Plank, mirrors her approach to everything else. It's not about her, but rather the women and girls who look up to her. Maher would then go on to say this, I have enough money that if I didn't need an abortion, I could raise a baby myself. If I wanted to get an abortion, I could do that. So I have that privilege, but it scares me about the other girls. I have options, and I want to remember that. My followers don't all have that. And so it's like for me, but also mostly for them. From Plank once more. Maher is humble to her core, so she'd never admit this, but she shares some commonalities with a potential first female president. It's hard to think of two bigger male institutions than rugby and politics, yet here stand Maher and Kamala Harris, whose undeniable popularity completely dismantles the very outdated sexist notions that tried to shut them out of those fields in the first place. Maher is part of a seismic shift when it comes to growing female representation in the most traditionally masculine realms of society. Her rise to fame transcends rugby or her personal journey. It symbolizes a movement where women no longer wait for a seat at the table because they can craft a new one instead. The Guardian would have more, and then I'll give my take. Maher took up rugby in high school in Vermont, then won 3 national collegiate titles. She built a significant social media following in the first phase of her international career, which began in sevens in the year 2018, and has also brought her 2 15-a-side caps. The recent Paris Games saw a really ridiculous rise to global fame. I think she'll even admit it. Maher is now the most followed rugby player in the world, which should really say something. Now, here is what I have to say about all this, okay? I don't think the right understands what they're doing. I really don't. I think this whole movement of protect women's sports isn't really about protecting women's sports, because we've seen it too many times over. Imani Khalif, they transvestigated her. She is a woman. They transvestigated Katie Ledecky, one of, if not the greatest female swimmer in the United States' rich history of swimming. They transvestigated Ilona Maher. What they are doing is completely opposite of what they claim they are doing. And who is the leader of all of that? Donald Trump and Riley Gaines, specifically the latter, a 5th-place finisher who took out her anger on a trans swimmer, okay? Because the trans swimmer got the trophy ahead of her, a 5th-place trophy, 4th-place trophy, only because they tied and the rules go by alphabetical order. That is why she is really upset. She has doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on all of this when really it is not about protecting women's sports. It is about Riley Gaines making a name for herself and also being a few things. Number one, in the good graces of Republicans. Number two, doing speeches for Donald Trump and stumping for him to remain in their good graces. And number three, finances. She has been given endless amounts of coverage, not only in terms of media when it comes to Fox News, Newsmax, other outlets as well, but also book deals, speaking engagements, Turning Point USA. So there's a lot of money to be had in all of this. And yet, when we take a step back, think about what they're doing when they say, oh, we're just trying to protect women's sports. You're not. You're not. Because you're actually attacking women's sports. You are attacking Angel Reese. You are attacking Kennedy Carter. You are attacking Megan Rapinoe. You are attacking Sue Bird. You are attacking Ilona Maher. You are treating them like they are not members of women's sports. You're treating them like they're dirt in order to score cheap political points. This is something they don't see. The Chaya Raychicks, the Jack Posobiaks, the Elons, who has weighed in on the Imani Khalif situation as well. When they do this, they turn off so many. And that is, and should be, the direct conclusion of this entire facade of a movement. That it is all based on a lie. And depressingly enough, someone who I really did like, Dan Orlovsky of ESPN, after the Imani Khalif situation, tweeting, "Protect our daughters." He would delete it, as he should. But once again, the most unseasoned man I have ever seen grace ESPN. And that goes for his chicken as well. Has shown once again who he is. And it's embarrassing to say the least.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.